Does Amsoil Dominator Coolant Booster help keep my RV cooler? Let's find out in the most valid test in the history of YouTube. So what's Amsoil Coolant Booster and why am I putting it in my RV? Well, second question I'll answer first. My friend sent it to me, so it's free. And if it's free, I'll probably put it in something. But what it is a liquid that's supposed to add to your coolant or water if you're just using straight water, and is supposed to improve heat transfer between whichever cooling surface coolant you're using and the radiator or the heater core. So the advertised benefits are that it's supposed to help your engine run cooler, and it's also supposed to help your heater work better and start working faster. So those are both things that actually would be really helpful to me in my RV. I've done a significant modification to the cooling system, converting it from a mechanical fan to electric fans, and I'm doing several things. I'm using the coolant booster. I've also changed thermostats from 190 to 180 degrees, and while I'm at it, I'm also doing some other work that might have an impact as well. I'm putting a more efficient turbocharger on that should lower intake air temperatures, lower exhaust gas temperatures, and all that kind of also plays into the cooling temperature because the intercooler is located in front of the radiator, so that influences how the radiator cools, and lower temperatures into and out of the engine also are going to contribute somewhat to the coolant temperature. Oh yeah, and I did one more thing. I put a fuel cooler on the return line going back to the tank. So most invalid test ever, but let's see if this works. So how do you add the Amsoil Dominator Coolant Booster to your engine? First thing you need to do is make sure that you have enough room in your coolant overflow tank to put it in. So if you're a little bit low on coolant because you have a blown head gasket, that part's simple. This will not fix a blown head gasket. Alternately, you have to drain some coolant out, which I had to do because I was putting in the lower temperature thermostats, so it needs some more anyway. Amsoil's instructions say that for a mixing with antifreeze, put 1 ounce in per quart of antifreeze. This has a really big cooling system, especially because being a 40-foot Class A RV with the engine in the back, you've got 40-foot long cooling hoses that go from the engine here in the back up to the heater core in the front. Because there's not enough, wasn't enough Dominator to fill up the cooling tank. So Caterpillar ELC, I'm going to top it off with this. After that, we'll go for a drive and we'll see if it makes a difference. It's been about a month since I did the rest of this video, and I've driven the bus about 4,500 miles, both in the flatlands heading south where it was warmer, and then also heading out west where we were climbing mountains, going up and down steep grades, and temperatures were variable, but nothing was exactly winter or cold. The cooling system did get a good workout, and I think I was able to make a few determinations. Did the Amsoil Coolant Booster help? I think it did. This was not a one-to-one back-to-back comparison where I could actually say I made this single change and this is what I observed differently. I did make a lot of changes, like I said at the beginning, all at the same time, and I think all of them had some effect. So when you do an experiment like that, you have to try to take a look at what you're seeing and make a hypothesis about what you can isolate to which change that you made. In this case, the big thing that I noticed that I think could be attributed to this coolant booster is that the peak temperatures that you tended to see in the coolant were somewhere in that 206 to 208 range. And it took a whole lot more effort, and when I say effort, I mean the engine working a lot harder to get above that, into that 212, 215 range, or into the yellow, which ends up getting closer to 220. So if you look at Amsoil's claims about the temperature reduction that you will see in a coolant environment as opposed to one where you've just got water in your cooling system, that temperature differential of what I was seeing now versus before, where it was pretty common to see as high as 215 on a grade that would then come down later, that kind of lines up pretty well. So I think you could say that there is a higher level of heat transfer that's occurring. And so I think that I can say that this is doing something. Is it worthwhile? Well, if a friend of yours is going to send you a case of it, then yeah, I'd say it's worthwhile. Would I spend the money to put it in if it was mine? After watching this video, maybe. So thanks for watching. If you didn't find this informative, I hope that you at least found it entertaining.